while the birds make music all the day.
Hello, I'm Forrest Day at Isles of Kentucky podcast. Please subscribe. I'm here with Leo Brown, aka Freak Daddy, aka my old roommate back in our rock and roll days on 102 Ashton. We didn't have a care in the world, no girlfriends. It was all about the rock and roll, man, and the dream, baby.
Yeah.
Keep it real. So Leo, how's it going?
Good, man. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming over.
Right on. So I know you, but they don't know you. So I wanted to say, can you tell everybody where you were born, like where you went to school, and then a little bit educationally about, I know you've done music and you did theater, but they don't know that. So,
well, I'll try to keep it as brief as possible.
Okay.
I'll get long-winded if I'm not careful.
Okay.
Grew up in a tiny community in central Kentucky called Grafenberg. That's where I lived until I graduated high school in Shelby County, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Went to EKU in '86, graduated there in 1990. Ended up with a degree in public relations, but an emphasis in broadcasting, and did a ton of music and theater while I was in college as well.
And then you did, what productions did you do? I don't remember.
In theater?
Yeah, in theater.
Oh,
Like a different company.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing I did was in college, I worked at Derby Dinner Playhouse, which was a professional company, got cast into that at 19, which is really cool. But it also opened my eyes to realize that I didn't want to do theater because it was professional. We were doing the same show over a series of a couple of months, and we did the same show every day of the week except for Monday and then twice on Sundays.
Okay, wow.
It got monotonous. It got real monotonous. And, I had already been performing as a musician since the time I was probably 12, you know what I mean? Playing parties and doing stuff, whatever. And then realized that world was a lot more exciting than doing theater where everything was scripted and completely expected. And I mean, there were people who were working out in New York and had done Broadway and you name it. I mean, there was a lot of really interesting things happening. Had a lot of networking opportunities. People wanted me to come to New York. I had people ready to house me for free and give me a full ride to a college. Just crazy stuff was happening. And because I dreamt it so strongly. I mean, really, that's what I was fully intending on doing, and the dream was coming true. And then I realized, this is the thing. I can't do this. I'm not cut out to do the same thing all the time, every day. It was terrible.
And I didn't tell you that I was a child actor.
Oh,
you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
This is crazy. Yes, I was picked and George Rogers Clark Elementary School in Louisville. When I was in first grade, I got brought in the principal's office. I thought I was in trouble. And the principal, I can still remember it because, like I said, I thought I'd done something wrong.
Right.
And she goes, would you play Daniel Boone's son in the sixth grade production? So I was going to be like the little kid of the sixth grader.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess. So I had one line. So we rehearsed it. It was, Father, let me come with you. Then I was all set. So I had my bit part. But what's the trip about it is I found out through, I don't know if it was, whatever those sites are of lineage of where you from. I'm actually related to Daniel Boone.
Oh, really?
Rebecca Boone. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, So literally my ancestors lived down at Fort Boonesboro, where we would go down there and hang out at Debbie Buckner's house.
And down the river.
Down the park, the river rats, man. That's shout out to my buddy Debbie Buckner, Debbie who. But anyway, I digress. So,
So related to Daniel Boone.
Yes.
The most glorified real estate agent ever.
That's right. Yeah, he took it all for free for some whiskey and guns.
He sold some property. That's what he did.
Yeah.
Amazingly.
But anyway, so I guess where I want to go from there is you were playing music and then the radio part. That's where I want to go. So when did you start in radio?
so where radio came in, I had started in high school doing announcements on the PA. You know?
Okay.
And then, of course, as soon as my voice changed, everybody said the same thing. You really need to do radio.
Let's see. You got into radio, and you worked. Which stations have you worked at professionally?
So initially it was 98.1 at the time, WKQQ. So that was back before the format flip and switched the station.
Mm-hmm.
So double Q to Z103, back to double Q. Then I managed the Catholic radio station for 12 years. That was 1380 AM and WMJR. And then I got into podcasting, started a podcasting company, and ended up turning that into a nonprofit and got out of that to go back into radio at iHeart in about 2017. Was there for 3 years before COVID came along, and then I was in sales, developing some programming, some business feature programming stuff as I was doing. And then COVID came along, and then got sidetracked, tried to do some construction work, and then found my way back to radio when Dead Air Dennis called me a year ago and said, "Hey, you want to come back and do this thing?" So they were scraping the bottom of the barrel. Got me back. Yeah.
So I know you're trying to spread some light to people in the world. And I saw Leo yesterday out supporting the homeless in Lexington, where they're trying to criminalize being homeless. But that's another show that's going to come up probably very soon. So where's your head at as far as trying to,
Well, you're here in my studio. I've invited a lot of young artists here recently. I've got several of these projects. I just released a streaming single, got another one finished I'm about to release. And the cool thing is you can come in here with an acoustic guitar as an artist, and what I'm looking for are people who really want to try to do something. They have an ambition. I bring them in. We do some mindset coaching. I teach them how to dream. I teach them how to really focus on that dream, how to truly have faith. Everything that I do is very faith-based. It's very scripturally based. I was a Catholic evangelist for 12 years. I was internationally known. Nothing that I'm doing now is in any sort of conflict with any of that. It's completely congruent, and all the way down to the things that I've always done, like be out there and try to be a voice for people who can't be a voice. Like the things that we did the other day with the Catholic Action Center. And I was there 24 years ago, by the way, DJ their grand opening at their old location. So I've been working with them for a long time. Jenny Ramsey.
Yeah, she's an amazing lady. Jenny, what's her last name?
Ramsey.
Jenny Ramsey. Wow.
Awesome. Saint Jenny.
Saint Jenny. Absolutely.
So, but I bring kids in here, and not just kids. I mean, I've got some that we're going to do a track. So that's cool. But it's great when I can get somebody in here who's young and hasn't necessarily been chewed up and spit out too much like the rest of us have, to the point that they're not too jaded.
Yeah.
But even if you're jaded, I don't care. I mean, I believe that what I know what I know, and I know that where I am now as far as my mindset is very different. And I've been very fortunate. I've created a lot of things. I've built a lot of things. I've dreamt a lot of things, and they've come true, right? What I didn't have, and I got to be honest, and this is the secret sauce that I'm discovering now, is this deep gratitude for everything. Just a deep gratitude for everything. Like I look back at a terrible year, had a terrible couple of years. COVID just put me into a tailspin because I'd come through a divorce, and I had a business that I was struggling with already just because my head wasn't on straight, right? How can it be in those kind of situations? You're very stressed. It's all like, you're just in this world. So divorce, business failure, then getting built back up, almost everything kind of back to normal-ish, or at least it's what it was before COVID crash and everything. And then I had to unfortunately, and I'll say this, but now I got to look at it with gratitude, but I took the wrong path, right? Two paths were set before me even then. I could have done my own thing, and I was motivated and interested, but I'm very, I want to learn, right? So if somebody presents me an opportunity, even if I don't understand it, I may be willing to do that to try to learn what it's all about just because I like the process. I like processes, right? So puzzles and putting things together and figuring things out. So this looked like an opportunity that was going to do that. And it was a lot of money. I made more money than I've ever made in my entire career in that brief amount of time just before I started my own business.
Yeah.
And then I lost it all because, again, dude, I started this with first I jumped into contracting out of fear because of what was happening in the world. Right, it's a terrible decision. Never make a decision out of fear.
No.
And so it's going to end with the same result it would have ended with anyway because you're fear. It's fear based. That's all it is. So that was a terrible premise to begin with. But then also what was the worst premise is because I'd had the failures, because I'd had the challenges, I wanted to prove something. Right, I wanted to say, you know what, watch me, because I know what I can do. I know what I can do when I dream it. I know what I can do when I put the things together. I know how to map these things. I mean, I've created brands. I created myself. I created Freak Day. That was a thing that came out of nowhere. You know, the Catholic station, Real Life Radio, all the things we did there, the Breadbox Media, my many musical pursuits, my DJ business. I mean, I've had a tremendous amount of success that I've created out of thought and then put it into action. But people, for whatever reason, are never taught that. It's not something that's ever mentioned in school. We don't have this opportunity, but that's the secret. That and a tremendous amount of gratitude, like I say, just gratitude for everything, even the failures, because the failures will lead you to the answers if you let them, right? The obstacle is always the opportunity. You just got to be able to go into that with an understanding of this is a learning process.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn something from it. And as long as you keep your faith, right?
Yeah.
So where I am now, I believe this for us. I have such a strong vision because what I'm trying to do is I know what I'm doing is contributing to the value of someone else's life.
Yes.
I know that without question. I'm helping them grow. And that this is where I am. It's all about the hierarchy of needs. It goes back to Maslow. It's very scientifically based, at least in modern psychology, and the understanding that we have this strata that we're always in need of. We got to have survival. We've got to have growth. We've got to have relationships. We need to have recognition. We need to have all of these things to help us thrive and survive. And then the top of that thing is self-actualization, and we wonder how are we ever going to get there? And we don't, because we've never made the decision to be self-actualized, which means I'm in control. I'm controlling my life the way I want it. I'm designing my life, and I am going to be generous. I'm going to give everybody the opportunity to be recognized for what they accomplished. I am going to recognize them. I post things on Facebook. I say, hey, look at this guy, look at this, whatever. I give people props. I do that personally. I look for opportunities to introduce people to my network and to network, because your net worth is your net worth, right? So I'm always looking at building relationships. I'm sure there's been somebody I've introduced you to who said, hey, you should call this guy or you should do this.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I generally try to do. And then we used to do this a lot. I'm going to do this again. Remember, we used to have huge gatherings. Remember these gatherings? I've got all this space. I've got a beautiful space that I've created. I intend to do that again. So I have these, but they're going to be strategic, like, hey, Forrest, I'm going to invite you, I'm going to invite you, I'm going to invite you. Smaller gatherings of people that I know should meet each other, right? That's coming. That's been planned for a long time.
That's going to be cool.
It's going to be awesome. But I'll also do it around a release of an artist, and I'll have the artist perform. You know what I mean? It'll be a cool little thing. I've got the space, so that's coming, and that's a fun opportunity just to connect people. So again, that strata, that hierarchy of needs, and then whatever I can do to help people grow. If I can give them advice, if I can give them a connection, if I can give them the opportunity. And then, there's a lot of people that we got to help survive. You've helped me survive. You've been there for me. We've all got situations where we can lend a little bit or give a little bit, or I can have an artist sit in with me and, give them some tip money at least. You know what I mean? There's always those opportunities that come along and whatever I can do. So, I know what my strengths are. I know what my skill sets are. I love to produce. I love the process. So I get in here in my studio. I let artists come in with an acoustic guitar and a song, and I play all the instruments. So I produce their song, and hopefully it sounds like something professional.
That's killer. And wrapping up here, I guess I was.
And that's an official. I don't want to admit that's Noise for Hope. It is an official.
Yes,
501c3.
So, how do people like get a hold of you or kind of enjoy the message or whatever? You're on Facebook.
So the other thing is Freak Daddy is my Facebook presence. Leo C. Brown is my social media presence as well. But I'm really trying, over the past year, going back into the Freak Daddy brand, doing that with the podcast, and really it's just a YouTube channel. I just put a lot of stuff up there. There's a lot of content between my Facebook page and the YouTube. There's a ton of stuff, and I'm also getting into, as I'm a huge Mark Pope fan. I was a fan of his when he was a player.
Yeah.
I love this coach, man. I am so excited. There's going to be a whole lot of UK content coming too.
Yeah. Good deal. So, Nice and Slow. How do they get a hold of you on YouTube? So for your podcast.
So Freak Daddy's the
Freak Daddy. If they put that in, then that will narrow.
I think I'm the real Freak Daddy at YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. But if you search for Freak Daddy and you see my face, you'll find me. There's a lot of content. I'm out there. You'll find me on the search. But again, social media, Facebook, that's probably, if you want to contact me, that's the best place. If somebody's an artist or there's somebody who is trying to develop something, I want to talk to you. If I can encourage you, if I can give you some ways to focus, I'll do it. And I'd love to do that with anybody.
Well, rock on. Always a pleasure, Mr. Leo Brown. And again, I'm Forrest Day for Isles of Kentucky. Please subscribe, and we'll catch you on down the road.